Well, hello there. It's me, Stu, here for you. And in this session, we're going to talk about the fast and easy way to pick a membership topic. Now, I don't know where you are on your membership journey. Maybe you have an idea that you've been pondering for some time about, well, I think this might make a good idea for a potential membership. Or maybe you've got too many ideas and you don't know which one to pick and you've been floundering because of it, right? You start pursuing one and then you're like, I kind of get excited about this one. And then this next idea pulls you in that direction and you're kind of all over the place and you don't know how to move forward. Listen, well, first things first is I want you to know that you're 100% normal. Like picking the membership topic and idea can oftentimes be a challenge that prevents many of us from moving forward. But what I'm going to do in this session is I'm going to give you a little bit of a framework that will help you validate whether the market that you are looking to pursue is a good market for a membership idea. So hello to Michelle and Janet. Great to see you. Thanks for jumping on and saying hello. So we're going to dive right in. And this session is relevant regardless of whether you have a membership site or not, because back in the day, I had been growing my business. This was back in like 2004. I know I'm kind of dating myself a little bit, but 2004 is when I began my entrepreneurial journey. And back then, the focus for me was I had built a business speaking to high school students and college students about creativity because, long story short, learning how to think creatively and come up with some great ideas. It took me from failing out of my first year of university to graduating top of my class with honors. And so I was passionate about that subject. So, when I started my career, I didn't want to go to the corporate path. I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know what I was going to do. And ultimately that led me to just, I'm just going to share what helped me in university. And so that's how I began my career, was as a speaker. But quickly I realized that schools could only afford so much and I could only speak so many times a year, and you just multiply the two together, and that was my maximum earning potential. So then I began thinking about, how else could I use what I'm teaching students to be able to grow a bigger business? And what I realized was that the same things that I was teaching students, I could also teach to other entrepreneurs and how to generate ideas for their business. And this really came, I got to give a shout out. I don't know, I haven't spoken to this gentleman in decades, so I don't even know if he's ever watching, but Vern Martin was the person who really shifted my mental state around the fact that entrepreneurs could benefit from what I was teaching. Because he started asking me one day when we were at a seminar, he said, what are you doing to get speaking engagements? And I was sharing him this idea and that idea and all these different creative ways I was getting speaking engagements. And he's like, I would love to pay you to share with me how to apply these ideas to my business. And that's when the light bulb went on for me. Okay, so this is a little background and context. So the moment that Vern said that, I was like, okay, I can help entrepreneurs, help them generate more ideas. And that's what I began doing. But I built a brand called My Idea Guy. And if you do a Google search, you'll probably find some embarrassing pictures and branding and all the things. But I was the idea guy, right? And I was helping entrepreneurs with all kinds of different marketing ideas. But here's why I'm sharing this lesson and story with you. From 2004 to all the way to 2015, being the idea guy was like trying to push a boulder up a hill. Because in a world of marketing, just being the guy that can come up with ideas, it fell very flat and it was difficult to stand out in the marketplace. Then in 2015, a friend and mentor of mine, Mr. Reed Tracy, who's the CEO of a publishing company named Hay House, he pulled me aside one day and he said, Stu, why don't you teach everything that you've learned about growing successful memberships? Because prior to that point, I had eventually moved on and created a software company, which, went on to become the world's #1 membership platform for WordPress. And this is where I got to help tens of thousands of people build successful memberships. And ultimately, I was seeing behind the scenes of what was working when it came to growing successful memberships. And he knew that. And he said, Stu, because he knew I was struggling with the whole My Idea Guy brand, he said, why don't you focus in on specifically helping people with memberships? Now, at the time, I got to tell you, I remember my knee-jerk reaction. My knee-jerk reaction was like, no, like, there's not enough people who are going to be interested in that. Like, that's a small market. But I had the foresight to know that Reed has infinitely more wisdom than I will ever have. He's got way more experience in business. And it was an opportunity for me just to take a step back and listen. And I did. And so ultimately what I ended up doing was shifting what I focused on, who I focused on serving, and how I was looking to help. Now, it didn't mean that all of my past experience with, generating creative marketing ideas was gone to waste, but what did change was my front-end messaging. And this was a big lesson for me because almost instantly, my marketing and who I was trying to reach became almost effortless. It became easy. People started seeking me out because now I had become known for something very specific, which was helping people generate more recurring revenue with memberships. So anytime a membership question came up, whether it was, how do I get more members into my membership? Oh, you need to go talk to Stu. Or how do I structure the content in my membership? Oh, you need to go talk to Stu. Or how do I increase my retention? Because I'm losing members just as fast as they're coming in. Oh, you need to go talk to Stu. Suddenly, I became the guy for all things memberships because I had become known for something specific. So I'm sharing this with you because as we are moving forward with our membership ideas, and I'm going to give you a framework to be able to drill down and find out whether the market is going to be a good market for a membership or not. One of the things, the overarching lessons that I want you to take into this is that we need to become known for something specific. And when you do, no matter what market you enter, it becomes infinitely more easy and effortless to be able to attract the people you want to serve. Okay, so great to see everybody. I see Don from the UK, Kaz from icy Dallas, Corey from Canada, shout out. Great to see everybody. Will's in the house, Melinda from Australia, Michelle from Naples, Florida. Great to have you, gang. Okay. And hello to our team as well, who are behind the scenes answering any questions that may come in. Okay, so how do you pick a market that would be a winning market for a membership? Well, what I can tell you is that we want to focus in on a very particular market, and we want to focus in on a particular problem that they're experiencing, and we want to focus in on the transformation that we are able to provide. So let me walk you through a couple different scenarios, but I want you to write those 3 words down: market, problem, transformation. Market, problem, transformation. When we talk about the market, the more specific the market, the more powerful. For example, let's say that you own a golden doodle. I just happen to own a golden doodle. Her name is Callie. She's a lovely little dog. Let's say that something were to happen to Callie, okay? And I'm looking for solutions. Who do you think I'm more likely going to go to for help with my golden doodle? Am I going to go to somebody who helps all dogs, or would I prefer to go to somebody who has a specialty in helping golden doodles? It's kind of obvious, right? Like, of course, I would go to somebody who's got the specialty that, is aligned with my particular dog. Okay, let's another scenario. Let's say that you have a knee injury. Who would you rather go and get advice from? A general practitioner or a knee specialist? Of course, right? It's obvious when we're going through these examples. But let's say that we were in the parenting market, okay? And let's say, now that we're in the parenting market, let's say that we are becoming new parents. Whose advice are you more likely to lean into? A general parenting expert or an expert that specializes in newborns? Well, of course, if you're about to have a baby, the newborn expert is going to be much more relevant to you at that point in time. And I share all this because many times we're so reluctant as entrepreneurs to lean into a niche market because the fear is the market's not big enough. It was the same fear that I had when Reed said to me, lean in to serving people who want to grow memberships. My fear was the market's not big enough. I want to help all entrepreneurs with all things marketing. But the reality of it is, when I leaned into serving people specifically in the area of generating more recurring revenue for their membership, my business exploded. And the same is true for you when it comes to your market. So whatever market that you're looking to serve, I want to ask you and encourage you to drill down even further. Rather than a parenting market as a whole, why not look to serve maybe different age groups? Or maybe it's helping parents with kids that have certain challenges. Or maybe it's helping parents whose kids have certain ambitions, like maybe to play sports at a high level, as an example, or to get into certain types of schools, as an example. By the way, all of those ideas that I'm sharing have all been turned into memberships. So the reality that I'm saying is the more niche we go with our market, the better. Second thing that I love that I want to bring home here is that when we're deciding on which topic that we want our membership focused on, I love to focus in on problems and or like ongoing problems or areas that people are looking to master a certain skill. So if you're in a market where people are experiencing an ongoing problem, an example would be like weight loss, right? You don't go from overweight to the perfect weight like that, right? It's a journey, right? Or you don't go from, another example of a problem is like, you don't go from a puppy that's wildly out of control to the perfectly trained dog like that, right? That's an ongoing problem that takes time to solve. Or you don't go from a relationship where there's tension and conflict and on the brink of divorce to this lovely, happily married couple like that, right? That is a journey to be able to repair and alter and fix that relationship. So those are all examples of markets that have ongoing problems. And when you are looking to serve a particular audience, if that market has an ongoing problem, that's a great sign. I would lean into that because that would make a great market or topic for a membership. Now, the other side of that is not just a problem, but if you're in a market where people are looking to master a certain skill, well, in a similar fashion, we don't go from not knowing how to paint to becoming the next Picasso like that. We don't go from not knowing how to play the guitar to being the next campfire hero like that, right? It's a journey to learn the skills and to master the skills. That's another great sign for a great topic for a membership site, is one where people are looking to master a set of skills. And mastery takes time. So when we're thinking about membership topics, I want the market to be a focus on a subset of a particular market. Like I want to focus on a niche. And I love to zero in on markets that are experiencing either an ongoing problem or a market where they are looking to master a certain set of skills. And then the third thing that I'm always focused in on when I'm thinking about the topic for a membership is I want to create some sort of transformation. And this is a question that I want you to write down, okay? When you're thinking about a membership, I want you to write this question down. And this is great even if you have an established membership, by the way. And the question is this: how will someone's life be better or different as a result of joining your membership? Let me say it again. How will someone's life be better or different as a result of joining your membership? Now, if you can't answer that question clearly, then it's going to be very hard to convey to your audience the value of joining your membership. But when you can clearly communicate the answer to that question, people get it and they understand the transformation that they will experience as a result of joining your membership. So I like to think of it and create contrast by thinking of it as two different worlds. In our membership experience, one of the things that we talk about is creating a success path, which is the journey of people going from where they are to ultimately where they want to be. But when we're communicating the value, if we just want to get succinct and straight to it, we got to create contrast between these two worlds. So what is the value of somebody where they are now joining your membership and the transformation that they will ultimately experience? Whatever the answer to that is what we want to get clear on when we are deciding on a particular market, because we want to help people experience a transformation. We want to help people experience progress. We want people moving forward in some capacity when they're joining our membership. Because with all my years of experience, literally decades, helping tens of thousands of people in all kinds of different markets, what I can tell you is that when people are moving forward and experiencing progress, they are far less likely going to cancel. And the long-term view for you and I as it relates to memberships is we want a business where people are not only staying for a few months, but they're staying for years. And the way that happens is when they are experiencing some type of progress. So let's make this practical for you right now. Let's say that you may not have a membership site idea right now, and you're contemplating between maybe a few or contemplating between a few different ideas. Where do you go from here? Well, one of the things that I encourage you to do is to, validate your idea in some capacity. Certainly based on today, I'd encourage you to do a little bit of research. And what I mean by that is I want you seeking the problems and challenges that this potential market that you're thinking about may be facing. What's keeping them from moving forward? What's keeping them stuck? What are the things that are keeping them up at night? What's holding them back? What's frustrating them? What are the things that they wish would be faster, better, easier? This is the kind of research that I want to encourage you to do, to really get into the headspace and the heart space of your potential market to understand kind of where they are now. The second thing that I want you to do is I want you to reach out to potential people who are experiencing those problems and challenges. And I want you to offer to help them for free. Stewie, wait a minute. You're telling me to help somebody for free? Yep, it's exactly what I'm telling you to do. Because in offering to help somebody experience that transformation that we just talked about, and in offering somebody to help them experience progress, just like we talked about, in doing that, you're going to get a much deeper understanding of how to really help people experience that transformation and experience progress. Plus, more than anything, you're going to get into the headspace of that market in a much deeper way. And if you're savvy about this experience, you're going to be documenting the questions that they're asking, the language that they're using, because you're going to mirror that in the future when you eventually launch your membership. So when we've launched memberships in the past, prior to actually launching the membership, one of the things that we've done is we wanted to validate whether this would be something that would make sense for a membership. We look for the problems and challenges that somebody might be facing, or the skill set that they're looking to master. And we do that research ahead of time. Then we're looking to work with a few people. Now, sometimes we do it for free, like I've suggested to you. Sometimes we'll do what's called a founding member launch, and that's a whole process. By the way, you'll want to mark down April 21st. April 21st. Mark it down on your calendar. Tell everybody you know. On April 21st, I'm going to be sharing a free workshop, live workshop, where I'm going to walk you through this process and a whole lot more. But one of the things that we've talked about is often doing a founding member launch where people are actually even paying for that experience. But in the short term, like my favorite easy, fast action way is just to offer to work with somebody for free and looking to help guide them through that process and through that journey to really get into the mindset of what they're thinking, what they're feeling, the experiences that they're having. And then the last thing based on that is I look to set up an opt-in page. An opt-in page which, speaks to one of the problems or challenges that the market is facing, because I want to gauge whether people have enough interest to even just give their name and email. And if that's not working, well, that's a clear-cut sign that we've got to fix something. We got to go back to the drawing board. But when the message is right, not only will people want to work with you, but they'll gladly share their name and email address in exchange for, some tips, some tricks, some things that are going to help move them forward toward that better, brighter future that they are seeking. So to wrap it all up, when it comes to identifying a market or a topic that would make a great membership site, I always like to focus in on first the market. I don't want to go broad. I'd much rather go narrow in who we are targeting. So instead of parents, I want you to focus in on newborn parents. Instead of all dogs, I want you to focus in on golden doodles as an example. Instead of all entrepreneurs, I want you to focus in on Amazon sellers. Can you feel the weight behind narrowing down that market? Then the second thing I want you to focus in on is the problem or challenge that market is facing. Instead of when you focus in on the problem or challenge, or you focus in on what are they looking to master, well, now we have a baseline for which to work from, right? And people are naturally seeking out solutions that are going to solve their problems, or they're looking for guidance that's going to help them master a certain set of skills faster, better, easier. And then the third thing that I want you zeroing in on is that transformation, creating contrast between the world that they live in now with that problem, with that challenge, or with that lack of experience, and the world that they want to live in, where that problem is solved or with that mastery has been achieved. And we create contrast between these two worlds. Those three things combine for a great topic for a membership. Now, how we validate that is I want you to do some research for potential markets that you're looking to serve and look for the problems or challenges. Then I want you to reach out to people in the market. Perhaps you know somebody who's experiencing that problem and challenge, and offer to work with them for free for the exchange of the story, for the exchange of the opportunity to get hands-on research from working with those people. And then lastly, I'd encourage you to test with a simple opt-in. If people are willing to give you their name and email address, then there's a much higher probability that that's going to make a great topic for membership. If they're not, well, then we need to go back to the drawing board because something is off in terms of the messaging and or the market and or what we're looking to help them solve. So hopefully this has been helpful. Great to see everybody. Haruka, great to see you. Liz, thanks for jumping on. Kathy, thank you for participating. Remember, at the end of the day, there are memberships being created in all kinds of different markets, from photography and calligraphy to fitness and finance and music and art and health and dog training. Heck, there's been people in our community that have created memberships around balloon animals and becoming pet influencers. I'm telling you, my friends, there could be all kinds of memberships in all kinds of different markets. The key, though, focus in on the market, Go narrow versus wide. Focus in on the problem or challenge and or what they're looking to master, and zero in on the transformation and creating contrast between their world now and the world that they want to experience. All right, my friend, listen, if you got more questions about membership sites and or launching your own membership site, I want you to know we got answers. After helping tens of thousands of people for decades now, we compiled the top 10 questions that I get asked about membership sites, and we put it together in a free guide that's available for you. All you got to do is just go to themembershipguide.com and you'll be able to download it for free. And not only will you get my responses to the top 10 questions that we get asked about memberships, but you're going to see it's loaded with examples. So you can see real world examples of people who have launched memberships in all kinds of different markets. So it's a phenomenal guide. It's all available for free. All you got to do is go to themembershipguide.com, and it's a resource. Whether you have launched your membership or you're thinking about launching a membership, it's a resource that you'll come back to again and again and again. So with that, thank you so much for joining me today, and keep me posted on your membership journey. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.